Hi everyone, this is my first ever real more conversational vlog. I usually do poetry or spoken word, but a lot is going on in my life at the moment. I've just gone from a real peak and a high to a real dramatic plummeting low, so much so that I had to go into hospital, and then I've had to spend the weekend with my parents because I don't fully understand my illnesses yet, but I'm starting to be able to make note of triggers, and a few things have upset me, and because of that I've been very scared about my own personal safety. So when I feel like this, I think it's, even if you don't want to talk to them, it's just healthier to have people around, because it kind of dampens on those impulsive things we do to harm ourselves. And I would say that that's very good advice for anybody that ever feels that they're at their lowest. If you are fortunate enough to have someone around, and even if you don't physically, don't forget there's always things like the Samaritans or 101 or 111. There are people out there available 24/7 to talk to. It might not be easy, you might get through straight away, and it might be too late. You might not be able to foresee the signs and end up in a real low, but hopefully you will get to a point where you start to recognise triggers and kind of put yourself into a safe environment. So BPD means borderline personality disorder, for those of you that don't know. And this is something that I have, and something that I'm not ashamed of. And even though I have it, I don't fully understand it yet. And because I don't fully understand it, it's not fair. I recognise at this moment in time when I get cross, when others, including my nearest and dearest, don't understand me, when they upset me, when they disappoint me, and when I can see clearly and I realise that I've actually done the same to them. I feel so bad, and I don't mean to make people feel that way ever, and I'm just trying to figure it all out, and it's a long process, but as I go along the way I am sharing with you all. You just need to access it. So on Facebook, Twitter or YouTube, you just type in A Diary from No One. And if you prefer to read, I have a rather intense and detailed website called www.adiaryfromnoone.co.uk, and it has basically documented my mental health journey since 2013, and the present day is 2016, and the journey's still going, so I'm still writing. I just want to reach out really to my fellow borderlines, my fellow people with mental health problems, our friends, our lovers, our families, even strangers that just are intrigued or recognise the realms of mental health, and the highs and the lows that people experience when they have good mental health or bad mental health or somewhere in between. And I'm also reaching out to the professionals that specialise in mental health, because one thing that I would like to say is, you know, it's great if you guys can show a bit of empathy rather than just treating us like ticks from a dissertation or textbook. We're human beings, we're people, we're breathing, we're living, and just a bit of compassion goes a long way. And everyone has mental health, just like everyone has a heart. They are both as crucial and integral as each other when it comes to life and when it comes to living. And some people's hearts and mental health may not function as well as others. I can say that my day-to-day life for some time now has been nothing but chaotic. I go up and down, like a yo-yo or a bad player in Snakes and Ladders. And, you know, that reference might be slightly humorous, but the reality of it is really tough. So on a daily basis, you know, I can't see forward getting past getting out of bed. Why should I get out of bed? There's nothing to do. There's no one that likes me. There's nothing to live for, etc., etc. I'm very irrational, and I'm very intense, and I also have an intense empathy for others, but just not myself. Day to day, hour to hour, highs and lows, like I said, highs and lows. I've got low self-worth. I feel helpless a lot of the time. I just, how can I help myself? I don't know. I'm not in control of these negative feelings. I'm not in control of this psychosis or these compulsions. And there's something in the back of my mind, right at the back, that's saying, don't do this, don't do this. But you're doing it and you can't help it. Nobody wants to have a mental health crisis. That's ludicrous. It's just, unfortunately, some of us have them, and it is very hard. And because of that, it's hard to connect with anyone. And when people accept you or like you or even suggest loving you, that just seems ridiculous, because you don't have any positive thoughts about yourselves. You don't like yourself, you don't love yourself, so you don't understand why other people would. I'm self-destructive, I'm suicidal, and I have tried to act on that many times. I self-mutilate. I have a fear of abandonment. I'm a really bad judge of character. I have a lot of numbness in between the highs and lows. I feel extremely misunderstood. I feel unloved most of the time. I feel like the world would be a better place without me. I feel like I'm beyond help a lot of the time, and therefore isolated, and therefore alone. And I'm just unable to sustain positivity itself and positive relationships. I'm unable to recognise the difference between good and bad relationships. I'm stupidly trusting and desperate for love, and hurt myself forward into sometimes very bad situations, and then I feel unworthy, and then I start to distrust love from even friends and family, just on a platonic level, never mind anything else. I'm self-loathing. I feel extremely left behind in the cycle of life. You should never compare yourself to others. Everybody does things in their own pace, but at the same time it just feels like the world is rushing past me and I'm pretty much standing still. And because of this, I feel stuck, and I feel betrayed by life itself, by the cards that are dealt, by the odds that are stacked against me and never in my favour. And therefore I feel undesirable. I feel extremely scared. I feel hopeless. I feel helpless. And that's every day, over and over and over again. So the second kind of section of what I'd like to say about borderline personality disorder is that I do not claim to have experienced life any worse off than any other. And that notion, I believe, is deeply misunderstood. And so much so, I'd like to say it twice. I do not claim to have experienced life any worse off than any other. Okay, but what I'm starting to understand is that I do not process the highs, mediums and lows of life, of everyone's life, as well as everyone else, as well as others may. And so I'd just like to kind of explain that from a kind of demographical point of view. If we label the number 1 as extreme depression, and then go to the number 10, and that's complete euphoric mania, then we could speculate and say that on average, the average person fluctuates between 4 and 6, okay, which is pretty good. And someone with bipolar disorder, for example, and there are many layers to bipolar, and this is just a brief example because my vlog is about BPD, not bipolar, but just for an example, because more people know or think they know about bipolar, and it's only now starting to kind of come out more about BPD. But someone with bipolar might have long periods of 9, And when I say long periods, I mean weeks or months. And then they might have long periods of the number 2 and very, not much in between. Whereas someone with BPD, someone like myself, may go up and down the entire scale rapidly in short amount of time. So I could go from 1 to 8, then 3 to 10, and may feel any numbness in between. So it's all about extremes, and it's all very rapid. The truth is, I am fighting every day, every single day, and it's exhausting because it often feels pointless, because I forget why I'm fighting, and the pain is so torturous. Sometimes I do just want to give up, and therefore I kind of feel like all my suffering is from a selfless point of view. I'm doing it for my loved ones, because it would be selfish of me to terminate my problems and eradicate my existence, because they would be the poor ones left behind in sadness. So, for the love of these people, I struggle every single day, and I don't know if that's clear, because the truth is, a lot of the time, I just don't want to be here. I feel like I cannot carry on. Occasionally, I love life, and I love everyone. I see beauty in the most ugly places, but up or down, high or low, I never ever see beauty in myself. And if you feel that too, please find comfort in knowing that you are not alone. You are not alone, people. I just wanted you to know that. Thank you.